Wherever you look at this convention for the last year in connection with the kickoff of the No Labels thing, you find this person, Kiki McLean, who is a force of nature. Somebody I've known a very long time from when I covered the Clinton administration, and who has gone on to honest work, which of course is facetious, but in any case, your latest passion is this organization. You're somebody who is very much a veteran of the political wars. Why then did you turn to this?
You know, like you said, I've spent 25 years as a political professional, and in this case, I'm a political activist. And I'm really here as Woodfin and Annie's mom. This is about trying to see the future for my kids and knowing that I can't build that future by myself. Because what we're dealing with today is not a safe place for decisions to be made, and I think No Labels is going to be an avenue to create safe space for our leaders to make thoughtful decisions and not to make them under the threat of political war.
It's obvious what you mean by it's unsafe right now. The politician who compromises does so at his peril or her peril. How is No Labels going to accomplish this counterintuitive effort?
Well, part of it is really a cultural change, making sure that our voice is gathered up. You know, there is power to numbers. And I think some of us have been sitting at home wondering if we're alone and we're the only ones who think like that. But we know today here at Columbia University there are 1,000 of us who think alike, and I bet when we get home we'll find another 1,000 who think alike, and we can use technology to help us organize together and make our voices heard. So it may be a handful of people going to see a congressman or a city council president and say we're No Labels and this is what we expect of you. It may be somebody who with a friend writes an op-ed. It may be somebody else who looks up and says, hey, that primary right there, we're going to get organized and go in and help the candidate that we believe is going to be focused on solutions and problem solving first and their own re-election second.
Which leads to following up to something that was included here, and that is you're going to go to the politicians and say this is what we're expecting from you. What are you expecting from the politicians?
We expect them to be willing to work together. That doesn't mean you give up your ideals, and it doesn't mean you compromise on everything. But if the conversation can't even begin because everybody's operating under threat from the extremists, then we won't get anywhere. Sometimes that conversation will come to fruition in the way of a real solution, sometimes it won't. But we've got to at least get that process started. You know, for years, when I spent an election night as a Democrat and watched some friends lose, I'd look up and say, that's okay, we'll get them again in 2 years. The flip-flopping isn't going to fix it anymore, and I don't think we have 2 years left to give.
Okay, you and I have talked about this ad nauseum, and that is the apparent oxymoron that passionate center is.
Well, part of it is about finding one another. I think you've been here today and you've seen the passion in the room and really in the breakouts. And I have to tell you, last night what was so fun as everybody got to town, really sitting at the dinner table. There's nothing like breaking bread together to find out where people are. I met amazing people. Jim, who's a former mayor of Edison, New Jersey, where his career started, where it is now. The fact that he felt completely left out and is now re-energized. Darnell, who people heard speak from the floor today, giving a message about why he was here. I met a wonderful man who's the former chief of staff to the Urban League, who's now out doing other work in the NGO world, saving young kids and really giving them a path to be on. And he says he can't do it unless we're there to help him.
So now comes the question that's really fundamental here. You've had your kickoff and all of that, but as the show business saying goes, what are you doing for me tomorrow?
Well, my hope and my goal is that tomorrow when people get in their cars and on trains and on buses and planes to go home, they go home and they share the word. And they bring those other like-minded people together and really own this at home. This is about the grassroots. It's not about some of us who put a meeting together where they could meet face to face. If we're all successful tomorrow morning on December 14th, we're going to find out that some of the folks who organized this are way at the bottom of the list, and it's being led by people from all over the country.
Kiki McLean, one of the founders of No Labels, who is in fact one of the geniuses behind the concept, and it's kind of genius that comes out of a long history in the political process as a participant. Now you're saying you're somebody who wants to see to it that it becomes a force for progress in our country.
That's right. I absolutely am. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiki.